Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. In another report, I teased about a great big bass that I caught, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Well, I told you before that we were using some huge baits on a new body of water that not many people had ever had a chance to fish, and I had a hunch that maybe I could catch a really big fish. Well, I hook a big fish, and I immediately think it's a northern pike. It felt so heavy. And then I bring it closer and closer. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a bass. And it's not really that gigantic at all. It looked to be 18 or 20 inches. And then I stuck my hand in the water to grab its jaw and lift it out of the water. And lo and behold, I'm telling you folks, I have never, ever, ever seen a largemouth bass this fat as this fish was. It was grotesquely fat. But wait. Not in a weird way, in an absolutely astonishing way. And there's a difference. Its stomach was distended, not by some kind of bloat, not by some kind of disease, but some kind of a monster thing that it had tried to eat and apparently got down its throat. Its stomach was gigantic. And as I lifted it out of the water, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, nobody will believe me. This thing feels like it weighs 50 pounds. Now, that's a huge exaggeration. But honestly, I'll bet you that bass was at least 7 pounds, maybe 8. And of its mass, at least 3 of those pounds were coming from whatever it had eaten. But it just made me realize how sometimes records are broken. We catch a fluke fish out there that either genetically went berserk or it has eaten something huge, kept it down, and now it gets the benefit of all that weight and becomes a state record. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how big my bass was because I didn't weigh it. But honestly, I've caught a lot of bass in my life. And through all the years that I've been doing tournaments, I get a chance to stand there and look at every fish that's being weighed in, up close. A lot of times I hold a bag to put water in so that they can keep the water and the oxygen they need so we can release them. And I've looked at them all. I've looked at all the largemouth that have been brought in our area to these tournaments, and there's hundreds of them. And yet, this was fatter than anything I'd ever seen. It's just something I guess I'll remember. I didn't even have a camera to take a picture. And no, it wasn't a state record, although it was pretty big. You know, the new state record's been broken. That's over 12 pounds. And this bass wasn't long enough to be anything like this. But it just shows you when you go fishing, I think it's a safe thing to say, expect the unexpected. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.